needle of truth in a haystack of lies.
What they don't tell you, which is just amazing, Mexico has some of the tightest southern border security in the entire world. They've even been known to kill people in Mexico. Yeah, so on their southern border, it's locked up watertight. The irony is just almost amazing.
The immigration thing is such a people problem. It's not really as much of a policy problem. You always have people afraid to say anything negative about it. The spin will be you don't like this group of people. So be it gay marriage or be it immigration, when you say anti-gay marriage, what people hear is I don't like homosexuals, or anti-immigration, I don't like Mexicans. So even if you have an awesome argument and two solid legs to stand on, it doesn't matter. We're not dealing with rational people, and that's what makes this whole thing frustrating.
And what's amazing about the Democrats is, there's all these built-in structures to turn every one of these illegal immigrants into a second-class citizen. So technically they'll be able to vote, and technically they'll be able to work. But that's the only two things that they'll be able to do technically for like 20 years that you and I are able to do. And here's what dawns on me. They have to have this underclass. They have to be able to say, look, these Republicans hate you. You're not equal. But they also need the votes. This gives them both. The Democrats have no interest in turning Hispanics into actual citizens because then they can't demagogue that issue because they can't drag it out every election and scare the crap out of people and divide us. They're not full citizens, which actually resonates with me. We already went through slavery in this country and a race war in this country. Now we're going to have a whole other splintering of a race war. It's like gasoline on their political fire. They love this stuff.
They need it. Well, it's pretty redundant to just beat up technology, but I do really notice that it has changed the way we react with one another and such.
Absolutely.
If you just take a step back and you just look how people deal with one another, and it's not necessarily even a bad thing. If you have somebody who you're with, like say you're married or your family, and everybody kind of agrees that this time is for technology and this time is for talking, and within reason separate those, you'll be fine. But it's just all consuming. Personally, I can't regulate. I'm always on my phone. Always.
I totally agree. But see, before I throw technology under the bus when I have these conversations, I always say it's a value thing. The values are so much more important than people think. You set your values in your life, and then you let your values conduct yourself rather than your base instincts. And it's the same thing with technology. For example, technology can be wielded for such power and such good. I'm sure we agree on that. But just like you said, if you set your home, once this time, cell phones go in a basket. If you allow your values to sort of put the wind in the sail of your ship, you're going to be fine because your technology is only going to enhance the other time. But if you let it all bleed into one, like so many of us do, like I do, for example, then you just get lost in the weeds. And I really think that's the way it is.
If you would leave your phone at the house and you knew you were going to be gone all day, that would be extremely upsetting. Or do you take your phone with you from room to room to room in the house? Are you emotionally, mentally aware of where your phone is at all times? And check for every single one of those. That's me. Check.
That's me too. My wife calls it the other woman.
Independently of your wife saying that, she's never heard her say that. She calls my iPhone my second wife. I said, how can you be jealous of an inanimate object? Well, because it's getting attention that I should be getting. That's the response.
On the other side of it, you're just able to do so much. You're able to interact with the world in such a new way. It's infectious.
When you have a populist that thinks Che Guevara was some sort of hero, the cult of personality thing just keeps coming full circle for me. People are defending the indefensible, or even worse, people are apathetic towards the indefensible. Then I realized that it's the Che Guevara bumper sticker or the Che Guevara T-shirt on the 16-year-old kid, just on a larger scale.
That is probably the best bullet point for this generation that you can have, is that the image is all that matters, the pop imagery, all that matters. Any kind of substance is just yawn, roll your eyes. And if you're right about that, which I think you are, the only way out of this mess as a society is to re-educate. Re-educate. Yep.
Well, I mean,
we've got to re-educate everything because you can't.
And unfortunately, this might not be where the reset button is. I hope it is, but I fear it's not. I fear it's going to take
pain.
liberty, pain. something really uncomfortable. You know, people are crying now about, I can't marry my boyfriend, and I want to marry my boyfriend, and that's what the number one issue is with young voters. When you hear that, and when you say, you know, there's other things that are more important to people, and they get real defensive, and they're like, this is a human rights issue. This is where you realize that the minds have really been.
Yeah, the propaganda has been complete. Like the download or whatever, that bar, that downloading, it's just complete.
I guess the end game for me really changed after the election, and the end game is no longer to win. Because I realized that we've gotten so gluttonous with our freedom. We take all the good of the freedom, and we don't have any ability to say no. It's all about pleasure. The freedoms we have come with no responsibility.
The thing that helps people like you and me, and I think you articulated that very well, I think that's the temperature of our time, but I think what helps guys like you and me is we don't see ourselves as grandiose and important. If you mix your own life with a little humility, which my Christian faith teaches me to do on every step of the journey, you realize you're just supposed to pick up the cross and do whatever you can do in your time. Do the best you can. Leave it all on the field with a bad sports analogy. That's all you can do.
And the timing of your life and where you were born and how you were born and the circumstance you were born into and your mistakes and your strengths and all those things all are known by God and you're born at the right time with the right parents, you know, and all the unpleasantness that your life and all the pleasure your life has to offer all makes you, you know, especially if you're a godly man, ultimately you'd hope that these things lead you to a revelation where you need a savior, is that you are put here for explicit purpose. And that's really, right now, part of that is to kind of defend the freedoms that we have, if it's at all possible. It is a little bit, you know, the band playing on the Titanic, it is a little bit like that because we know it's going to end. We know it, but it's probably to make it at least as painful as possible.
And you can be Morpheus. I mean, you can pull people, as many people as you possibly can. I mean, I remember that scene in The Matrix where there was like just as far as the eyes could see, there was just pods and pods and pods of people enslavement. And he couldn't just unplug crazy. He had to do what he could do. So I mean,
the movie, I think he said something like, if you turn off the Matrix, they die because the body can't live without the mind.
Follow him on Facebook and Twitter. Abroclo les productions.